Hey, so in this video, we are going to share with you how to launch a product on Amazon this year with the help of PPC and some other different tactics that we're going to share. Myself, I'm an Amazon seller and I'm currently launching new products, so I might have things to say to help you, the viewer, with your product launches. Isaac Gross with me here from IGPPC. Guys are an agency that help you and take over your PPC if you need. They do it for you. They kind of take this pay-per-click advertising of you and they help you run it so it can help you grow your business, launch products, rank keywords. So there's going to be a link to IGPPC in the description with a special offer that we have prepared for you. So check it out. It's going to be good. Isaac, man, can you introduce yourself? And then we're going to dive into the content. We're going to share some ideas for good product launch on Amazon this year.
Sure. Thank you so much for the intro, Vova. I'm super excited to be here with you. You've been a long-time friend. So I'm excited to be over here on your channel. So about myself, my name is Isaac Gross. I'm the CEO and founder of IGPPC. We manage the PPC for many Amazon businesses. Our specialty is that we're very hands-on. So we have an in-house team. Most of our account managers are actually in New York City, where our main office is. We have an office in Israel too. And every account by us has a dedicated account manager, somebody you can always talk to, email, and even text. Our vision is to sort of become almost like an in-house employee with the expertise of an agency. We manage many large Amazon businesses. We manage over $2 billion in annual sales. And yeah, I'm excited to be here today, share some value, have a good conversation, and we'll see how to launch a product successfully on Amazon.
Welcome, and good to have you here, man. Yeah, this year I'm also launching, and I have basically 3 new products that we're launching in Canada in the barbecue brand that we have. So yeah, man, that's kind of what I'll be kind of also referring to, I guess, in this video and previous launches. But what do you want to start, man? What do you had in mind, about the launch? So yeah, man, let's go.
Sure. I would love to hear your thoughts as well on this. So I'll go through, our process, and I would love to hear your intake, what you are currently doing actually. So the number one thing when you launch a product on Amazon, right, is even before you start the launch is to have the right product, okay? Amazon today is not what it used to be. Today, on most products, you have tons of sellers, many sellers selling it at very cheap. So when you come in with a product, you need to think, I also think about it as common sense. Why should somebody buy your product versus a competitor's product, right? So you need to make sure that you bring in a product that there's something about this product that will stand out and you'll be able to break into the market. And stand out means either a better product, nicer colors. It could be also a nicer listing. So if you see a certain market where, the sellers there don't really focus on beautiful listings, that can be your thing, that you'll do a nicer listing. But you need to make sure that you come in with a product that somebody should take the risk to buy your product with little or no reviews versus competitors with a lot of reviews. So make sure that you have something to offer, not just another Me Too product. That's, for me, step number 1, okay? To have the right product. Step number 2 is also, which is very, very important, and I see this mistake a lot, okay? Many sellers I talk to, they say, hey, we're bringing in a product, and they're like, yeah, if you sell it at this price, we'll be able to make, let's say 20 or 30% margin. But I'm like, look, I'm looking right now at Amazon and see that most sellers sell it, let's say $20, and you want to sell it at $25. They're like, yeah, but even if we sell it at $25, our product is a little bit better. Also, we might be able just to have a smaller pie of the market because we're a little bit more expensive. Basically, they're bringing a product where they can only make money in a best case scenario if they sell it above market price. And that's a very big mistake. When you bring in a product, you always need to know, I need to be able to make money. And of course, that's all fees included, including PPC. I need to be able to make money if I sell it at the market price, okay? You can't bring in a product where you will only make money if you sell it at a certain best case scenario, which is more expensive than the market price. So that's very important. Make sure that the product that you bring in can actually make a profit if you sell it at the current market price, not more expensive. Even if your product is better, you don't know if the market will be willing to spend more for the feature that that's better with your product. So that's also very important when you bring in a product, okay? I just want to say one more thing that I see also a lot of sellers make a mistake. And I would love to evolve because this is I'm not sure, a controversial topic, but some people have different opinions. So Amazon is a platform where customers search for a product and you want to serve them with an ad or show them a product that they search for. Amazon is not a platform to introduce new types of products, different, types of new gadgets. So many times I'll have, let's say somebody reaching out, hey, we have this new product idea. Nobody else has it on Amazon. I'm like, that's not a good thing, because if nobody else has it and it's a new idea, how can we do PPC for a product like that if nobody searches for it, right? What are the keywords you're targeting? How will sellers find you? So usually products that it's a new concept, they're great for Facebook, TikTok, these marketplaces where people get introduced through video, through UGC content, they get introduced to a new type of product, right? But Amazon usually is another platform to introduce a brand new type of product, because again, we need to have keywords to go for, to advertise to PPC. You need to have keywords to show up what somebody's searching for. If nobody knows that this product even exists, nobody will search for it, right? So that's also very important to have in mind, that if you bring in a new product, a new type of concept, Amazon might not be your best platform to start with. Rather start with, again, outside traffic, TikTok, and once there's a kind of demand for the product, of course, you should sell it on Amazon. Again, you can always sell it on Amazon, but don't expect Amazon to bring you the shoppers if it's a new type of product that people don't know about, okay? So
I agree.
That's about doing product research. We have the product, right? We bring it in. Now the next step is creating listings, okay? This is really one of the traits that I see in my clients, the most successful ones. They are obsessed with making beautiful listings, okay? Especially the main image. And I keep on saying this. You have to be obsessed with your main image. When a shopper goes into a store, they can see your product, they can touch it, they can feel it, right? When they go online, they cannot see it. The image really, really needs to be beautiful, okay? And I always suggest use tools like PickFu, different split testing tools. Make sure that you have the best main image, okay? I was at a conference and I had a conversation with Aaron Cordovas. He's the founder of Zelay Kitchen. Zelay Kitchen is one of the largest kitchen accessory, kitchen gadget brands on Amazon. He's the number one selling, his product is the number one selling garlic press, okay? So you can imagine, so you can imagine how much he's selling.
The OG.
The OG, exactly.
All right, yeah, I understand.
Okay, so he said that when he brings in a product, he sort of takes a screenshot of the search results on the first page, okay? Let's say he searches garlic press, he takes a screenshot of the first page, and then he puts in his new potential listing, and he looks at it with his team, and they see, okay, let's analyze this first page. Why should somebody buy our product versus a competitor, right? And he tries to redo the image until he sort of looks at the first page and he sees all the different competitors, and they feel compelled, okay, this one looks a little bit better, a little bit different. So that's very important. Really think like a customer. Think, why should somebody buy your product versus a competitor? Think, how can you make the product way more appealing? So again, very important. Have a beautiful listing and obsess with your main image. Packaging, that's something I actually heard from one of the founders of Thrasio. So they were also obsessed with making beautiful packaging. They say that packaging is something that makes the product look like a professional, legit product, like a product they can take off on a store, right? And has a nice box, nice packaging. So again, if you have packaging, make sure to actually display it either in the main image, again, if it makes sense for the product, or in one of the secondary images. That's also very important. It gives a certain credibility to the product, a certain legitimacy. It looks good, it looks professional, right? So that's with the visuals of the listing. Then, of course, you should make sure you have an optimized title and optimized bullet points, okay? Now, the title and the bullet points, they need to be optimized for the shopper, right? It should be a readable, normal title and readable bullet points. But even more importantly, it needs to be optimized for the algorithm. So the visuals usually are made for the customer, right? The title and bullet points are made for the customer, but even more importantly, they're made for the Amazon algorithm. Amazon's algorithm will understand what your product is based on your title and bullet points. And again, other attributes as well. But one of the strong factors, how Amazon understands your product, is the title and the bullet points. So we'll talk later about how we do keyword research for PPC. And that same concept we'll talk then also applies to the title and the bullet points, how you should have the main keywords in there. Okay. Another very important factor is what subcategory you are in. Amazon takes a lot of relevancy. Amazon tries to understand what this product is based on what subcategory it is. So back in the days, well, I believe you remember, sellers still do it. Sellers used to go into some weird subcategory in order to win the bestseller badge. right? So they saw like a subcategory that doesn't, was not selling so well. So they thought, okay, if we get into that subcategory, we can get the bestseller badge there. And that was very common tactic. But many times it started backfiring because Amazon started to think, okay, so I guess this product, which is, let's say, a garlic press, is really something else. So Amazon takes a lot of relevancy. They try to understand your product based on what subcategory it is, and that's how you will rank on Amazon. So if you want to rank on your main keywords, which obviously you want, make sure to be in the right subcategory. So the one is shtick, but trying to get into different weird, irrelevant subcategories, okay?
Yeah, I want to say, man, just before you continue, it's a little funny story connected to the subcategories. So, like, maybe 2017, because you mentioned, sellers sometimes change them and all that. So, I remember we had a product, Kitchen Caesars, and basically, if you were in a subcategory that you could be number one there, you would get the bestseller badge, right? Mostly, like, that happened. And then, so our scissors at some point were in commercial refrigerators. It's for a little while, and but yeah, like it had the bestseller badge, I guess. And then it all I guess got back to Kitchen Caesars. That the algorithm itself, I guess, started not allowing the listing to go to where it shouldn't be, and better not to do that these days for sure, because I think that would be just probably wouldn't even work, like and would just confuse everything, and better not do that. So better stay in the irrelevant subcategories you mentioned. Yeah, man. But that was funny.
Yeah, so back in 2017 it worked, but again, it doesn't work, as you said.
Yes.
Now, the next thing is make sure to get reviews, right? When you sell your product, reviews is one of the most important factors on Amazon, and you need to get reviews. Now, how to get your reviews before you have customers, right? So Amazon has Vine, where you can basically, you pay, and Amazon has these sort of professional reviewers, and they will review your product. Just one thing to be mindful of is that these Vine reviewers, they are very critical. I think they try to be honest, and they are like sometimes overly honest. Like if they have any the product, they'll say it. So again, that rule is in general, but just make sure you have a very good product. But especially if you're gonna have these Vine reviewers review it, just make sure that it's very good, because when you have a new product and you're getting a few negative reviews in the beginning, that's like a death sentence for the product, right? If you launch a product and you get 5 reviews, all of them are, 1 or 2 or 3 star, this product is basically over. So again, make sure, get reviews, use Vine, make sure to have a good product.
I could add to that, man, maybe something to the Vine. So, for example, what we're doing now with because it's a really nice, as you mentioned, they are very critical. So you definitely have a good product and all that, like make sure everything is very, very well done. But then what you can do, let's say launching in US, what we're doing now. So launching a product in Canada, we brought most of the units to Canada, but also once we open the listing in Canada, we'll then open it in US. So we have a little bit of product left in China to send to the US, just maybe we'll sell the product there as well, but the market is more saturated. We're selling barbecue accessories, and there are a lot of, some of the products are very saturated in, let's say, US, but less so in Canada. So we're launching in Canada, but the reviews will transfer from US. So so basically we're gonna get the Vine in US and in Canada in the same time, I guess. So, and then usually the reviews just connect. It takes a while. Sometimes some reviews for some reason don't connect, but it's like legal. It's Amazon actually does it. So if you have any other markets, you can then send, another 50 units if you're selling in another market, just to get those reviews faster. So that's what we're doing, just in addition to the Vine thingy. Yeah,
that's a great tip. And if you're saying this, I'll add another tip, which is also okay with Amazon. Yeah, if you sell variations, different colors, what you could do is you can leave them as a separate listing and get more Vine reviews. Then after you get the reviews, you can combine them so you have more Vine reviews. So yeah, that's a good
one.
Yeah, get more Vine reviews. Okay, now let's go into real strategy and PPC on how you can rank your products. Okay, so the first thing is, right now we'll start with keyword research, right? So again, let's start with that. In order to rank your product, you need to have traffic, right? We want to get it. The goal is to get on the first page. So let's say you're selling a garlic press. The goal is when somebody searches garlic press, you should be on the first page, right? That's how basically customers will find you. Most shoppers do not go to the second page. So let's think a little bit logically, right? Whom does Amazon bring to the first page? How does Amazon decide who should be on the first page, right? Amazon's algorithm is definitely complex, but it's also simple. Amazon wants the best experience for the shopper, right? Amazon basically they want to really serve the product that sounds the best, is really the best product, the best fit for what the customer is searching. So Amazon basically looks, when somebody puts in garlic press, they look which product converts the best. the product that converts the best, Amazon will say, okay, look, this product has a good conversion rate. Let me bring him up onto the first page, right? So basically, Amazon analyzes the shopping experience. They analyze when customers search a certain keyword, which product do they buy? And based on that, they rank you on the first page, right? That's the simple version, right? It's definitely more complicated than that. But the philosophy behind it is very simple. Amazon wants to have the best converting products on the first page. Now, we have the chicken and egg problem, right? Because how can I convert if I'm not on the first page? Who will find me? If somebody searches garlic press, I'm a new product, I'm nowhere to be found. How can I even prove to Amazon that I will have sales? Okay. So this is where PPC comes into, that we will pay money to Amazon, right? We'll start advertising for the keywords that are the main relevant keywords. So when somebody searches garlic press, they will see an ad. When they click into the ad and they buy our product, Amazon will see, okay, great, this new product, it looks like it has a good conversion rate. And, slowly Amazon will start bringing you up on the first page. Now, let me add in case, your listeners don't know, Amazon has something that we call, the Amazon sales community calls it the honeymoon period, which basically every new product that you launch, Amazon will sort of give you the benefit of the doubt. Amazon will let you rank easier on the first page than an older product, because Amazon understands it's a new product. Amazon doesn't expect that the conversion rate should be as good as a product that has thousands of reviews. So Amazon will give you more leeway, like even if your conversion rate is not as good as your competitors. If Amazon sees some sales, some conversion, Amazon will easily bring you onto the first page. So that's why it's very important that in the first, again, there's people have different opinions how long the honeymoon period is. I think, it's probably not black or white, but the first 2-3 months, right? These are very crucial time to make sure that you get traction, that you get traffic to your listing, and then you get sales. So that brings us to PPC, right? So PPC, the first step is keyword research, right? We want to make sure what are the main keywords that we want to advertise on. So I'm a big fan of actually using first-party data when it comes to keyword research, okay? So first-party data means brand analytics, product opportunity explorer, search query performance, if it's an older product and you have data, okay? Now, we also use Helium 10, we also use Data Dive, but if you can get information from Amazon itself, from brand analytics or product opportunity explorer, we'll go with that, okay? Now, how do we get the keywords? So what we do is we take your top competitors. So again, let's use the garlic press example. We see, okay, which competitors sell the most for the keywords, which competitors sell the most garlic presses, right? We'll take these ASINs, we'll pull them into brand analytics. And Amazon will tell you, okay, Amazon will give you a list of keywords and tell you that these are the keywords that drive the most sales to these top listings, okay? So now we know, okay, these are basically the keywords that drive sales and conversion to our main competitors. And then we'll take these keywords and we'll start creating campaigns for that, okay? Now, just maybe a little bit of a technical thing that I would say. When you choose the keywords, you have to make sure it's the right keywords, okay? So I'll explain what I mean by that. Number one, you want to choose keywords that have a high search volume, right? So if you choose a keyword that only, let's say, 500 people search a month, that's not going to really make a dent on your product. Again, you can advertise on that, but you want to make sure first to also have your main keywords, okay? But also, when you have these high search volume keywords, you also want to make sure that they are very, very relevant to your product. So a good example I like to give, so let's say you're selling cups, right? So let's say you're selling, I have a coffee here. So let's say you're selling coffee cups. The word cup or cups might be a very high search volume keyword. But the problem is that when somebody searches for cup, they are not necessarily looking to buy a coffee cup, right? It might be a plastic cup or maybe a mug, I don't know, like a different type of cup. So even if cup is the search volume is very high, the buying intent for your product is low, right? Because a big percent of the people actually looking for search of a cup are not necessarily looking for your product. So you're not going to convert well, your PPC will cost you a lot, and you're not going to rank, right? So it's very important that when you look at your keywords, but one, high search value, but also very relevant. So in this case, it should be, let's say, coffee cup for coffees. Again, I didn't actually look at brand analytics, but you get the idea, right? So a good way how I look at it is in brand analytics, you can see the top 3 clicked ASINs. I want to make sure that at least 2 of the top 3 clicked ASINs is similar to my product. So let's say if you look at the keyword cups, and you do see that the first 2 ASINs that shoppers click in is actually a coffee cup, then it's okay to choose that keyword, right? Because at least 2 of the 3 that is actually the product that we sell, okay? So that's a good tip on how you can see on the keyword, like if it's really relevant to your product or it's a broader keyword, okay? Now, one more thing.
Nice.
Sometimes you have keywords that are very, I call it not buying intent. A good example is, right, we just said Q4, a Christmas gift for Christmas, right? The very high search volume keyword, but the buying intent, the conversion rate of this keyword in general is super low, right? Because people that search this keyword, they don't know exactly they want to buy, right? So it's very, very hard to rank on a keyword like that. What I consider a good buying intent keyword is that when you search in brand analytics a keyword, you can see the click share of the first 3 ASINs and the conversion share. I like to have a conversion share of at least 30% between the top 3 ASINs. If the top 3 ASINs combined have around a 30% conversion share, that means that it's a pretty high buying intent keyword. But if you see that even the top 3 ASINs together have like a 10 or 15%, even 20% conversion share, that usually means that it's the buying intent for this keyword is very low. Just a small word here. Also, when you look at variations, that's hard to see, just because when you have, let's say, you're selling a product with a lot of different colors, let's say shoes, right? Then you will always see the conversion share like almost 0 on brand analytics, because somebody will click into one variation and then buy a different variation. So the whole brand analytics gets a little bit skewed. Again, so the idea is keyword research, make sure to have your list of keywords that drive sales to your competitors. And we discussed, make sure that they are relevant keywords, and the conversion share between the top 3 combined is around 30%. Okay. Now, what we do after that is like this. Yeah. So what we do after that is like this. We take your top, usually around 5 to 10 keywords. Okay. And again, by the top 5 to 10 keywords means the highest search volume, but as we said, also very relevant. And we put them into a separate campaign, which we call a ranking campaign. Okay. That means these keywords will go in a manual campaign, exact only. Okay. We increase the top of search by around 100%. So the top of search placement means when you search, let's say, garlic press, the first on a desktop, it's 4 or 5 spots. The first basically row of ads are called top of search, and top of search has a conversion rate usually 2 or 3 times better than the other placements. Okay. So again, if you remember well, our goal is to have the best conversion rate possible, because when we convert well through PPC, we'll start ranking organically, right? So we want to make sure that when advertising, especially our main keywords, we want to be top of search. Okay. So that's why we want to put these in a separate campaign, exact only, to get as many clicks and sales as possible on these keywords, and top of search 100% to make sure that we win top of search. Okay. Now, all the other keywords, we'll put them into a manual campaign. We'll make a separate broad campaign, separate phrase campaign, and a separate exact campaign. Okay. But again, I like to divide the top keywords from the rest for 2 reasons. Number one, I want to be able to control them and make sure they're spending. And also sometimes we'll go way more aggressive on those top keywords in terms of ACoS, because the objective is not ACoS, right? The objective is to get a lot of clicks and orders in order to rank organically. So divide the top keywords in an exact campaign, the rest put in a manual, exact, phrase, and broad. Okay. Now we'll also create a instant targeting campaign, basically, looking at your main competitors and making sure that we're targeting them as well. Now, one very important part of the launch strategy. Okay. We have a product, we have a nice listing, we have already PPC. Now we want to be able to convert. Okay. Now let's face it, most products that you will bring in, you'll have competitors with thousands of reviews. But why should somebody buy your product? Again, the listing is nice, but in today's days, most Amazon sellers have pretty decent listings. Maybe yours is a little bit nicer, but still, you need to convince the customer to buy your product, which is a newer product, a little or no reviews versus a competitor. So one of the strongest levers you can pull is price. When you launch a product, make sure that you come in with a cheaper price. You need to give the customer an incentive to buy your product versus a competitor's. So if you're cheaper, you'll have a way better conversion rate. So that's really one of the strongest levers that successful sellers do when they launch a product. They go aggressive on PPC to gather traffic, then go aggressive on price in order to win the conversion. Now, what happens when you have a lot of traffic and a good conversion rate? You'll start to rank organically. Once you gather reviews, once you have sales, you have ranking, of course, you can slowly start increasing the price to your optimal price. And when you lower the price, there's no exact rule about how much you should lower it. You have to test the market, maybe lower by 20% cheaper than the average, see how you convert. If you still don't convert, lower, 30%. Play around. Your goal is to have a good conversion rate on your keywords, and this will help you rank organically. Now, for your top keywords that we discussed, your top 5 to 10 keywords that we're going aggressive organically, make sure to track them, see how they start ranking organically. So we use Helium 10. We love it for organic ranking. So make sure, take those top 5 to 10 keywords. Again, some people track hundreds of keywords. You can do that as well. But usually, again, for most products, we will only track between 10 to 30 keywords, and mainly the top 5 to 10 keywords. And you have to remember, usually I would say 60 or 70% of your sales will come from that 5 to 10 keywords, okay? They have the highest search volume. So they're very important to track, and they're very important to, again, make sure they get a lot of spending and sales. If you see on those 5 to 10 keywords, if they're in that ranking campaign, they're not getting enough impressions or clicks, but what we do is that we take them out, we create a single keyword campaign, and we go, way more granular on those keywords, we go more aggressive, we increase top of search more to make sure that we get impressions, clicks, and of course, most importantly, orders on that keyword, okay? Usually, if you do the strategy right, and you launch with a good price, beautiful main image, you have the viral reviews, and you go very aggressively with PPC, with separating the right keywords and ranking keywords, you should have a very successful launch on Amazon. These are basically everything I have. Now, one more question, that people ask a lot. When does the launch period stop, right? When can we start, taking a little bit of the, like going less aggressive? When is that, okay? I usually say that, of course, it depends how close you are to your goal. So let's say you had a goal of, let's say, reaching a BSR of 10,000 or 2,000, right? If you're nowhere close to that number, obviously we're still in the launch phase, right? But if we are slowly but surely reaching our goal, meaning to say we're gaining the momentum, and also we're constantly making better progress, then I say that when 50% of your sales come from organic, you can start, releasing the gas a little bit and going less aggressive, okay? Because if, let's say, still 80% of your sales come from PPC, then if you'll start lowering the PPC, of course, the sales will drop dramatically, right? So the goal is that your product should, again, be progressing towards the goal where you want it to be. So that means you're having the sales, and also 50% of the sales already come from organic. That means, okay, the product stands already on good ground, has already organic sales, it's constantly getting better and closer to where you want it to be. That's where I would say that the launch period is, so to speak, you're not in that aggressive phase anymore, and you can start to lower the PPC, maybe start increasing price slowly, and, focusing more on profitability.
Nice, man. I like that you have the numbers, you're saying like, okay, so let's say it might be a BSR that you're aiming for, or for example, 50% organic sales and then PPC sales, and you see that's increasingly getting there maybe. Right. So like seeing that it's in a right trajectory, maybe the BSR keeps falling, these beautiful like
graph on it,
and then stays there forever. That's that's the dream of Amazon sellers, to actually do it like that. Yeah, man, pretty cool. And once we are in this, we're talking about launch, but still, like, once we're in the, let's say, a year into that, like, what do you see with sellers like that you're running campaigns for them? Never mind, by the way, the viewers, we have the link to your agency with all the goodies that we can offer from this video in the description. Yeah, like, let's say a year in, maybe 2 years in, how do you see PPC that's successful, and what does it mean even, like, after the launch ended, after product is already like consistently getting reviews, maybe getting sales, is profitable? How do you work with the PPC at that point?
Okay, great question. So, back in the days, people were able to do PPC very aggressively when they launched, and then they, went off PPC entirely, and the product did well. Today, that's very rare, okay? You always need PPC for most of your products in order to maintain your rank, to maintain your organic position, right? Amazon has taken up the PPC takes up like above the fold, right? Like 60% of the page, right?
Yeah.
Right now you have the top, the first row is PPC, then you have one row organic, then you have video, then you have all these other widgets as top rated, and Amazon's choice. So many, basically 50% of the page is ads, okay? So if you're gonna stop ads ever on a product, you will lose a ton of visibility, and it might hurt your product. So you always need to continue to run ads, and you need to be at a healthy tacos that makes sense for you, right? So what's considered a healthy tacos? On the higher end, it's 15%. Usually above that, it's hard for a seller to make real profit. But again, sometimes, especially let's say in certain categories, people make with large margins, people go up to even a 20% tacos. So again, what's considered a good tacos? That's always up to your product, and it also depends if you can afford it, right? Meaning to say, if you have a 20% tacos and you're still making good money, that's fine, right? Again, but usually a healthy taco should be in the range of 8 to 15%, 15% on the higher side. Now we have clients that have a tacos of 1%, 2%, 3%, right? So it all depends, obviously, in the category. But just to say, an average between 8 to 15%, that's what you will always probably need to spend on PPC in order to maintain your momentum, right? To make sure the product is still ranking and gets sales. So basically, I hope I answered your question, right? After 1 or 2 years, still do PPC, but in the beginning, your tacos will be higher and you probably won't be making money in the launch phase. But after that, you should make sure that your PPC is, as a percentage of total sales, is again between 8 to 15%. And of course, make sure that you're still making money. So find the tacos that fits, for your budget, your product. If you have a tacos of 10% and you don't make money because you don't have the margins, that's obviously not considered the good tacos, right?
Yeah, man, I understand. And that definitely answers the question. Also want to add that going back to the launch. So basically, another thing that you could leverage, if you have that, maybe if it's your first product and not, maybe it's your second product and you've started gathering a list of customers, forms of emails, or just or another people who bought from you, and you can somehow reach them again. You just can say that we're launching this new product, and you can give them a link to Amazon, and give some discount or something. And I think even if they don't buy, like, it gives some analytics to Amazon. I want to say YouTube, but to Amazon, right? And then if these are like correct shoppers, like if you advertise on a random list that that's not connected to your product, might probably hurt maybe the metrics. But maybe if these are people, like, let's say we're selling barbecue accessories and we send them a new product, maybe even in for example, we sell grill cleaning products, so we might offer them a similar grill cleaner, so we for sure know that they might have some interest because they bought from us, they trust us, and this one or another. So even if they don't buy, I think they still are real Amazon customers, and they might go buy something else, and still Amazon sees some clicks on this page. Maybe they'll go to another place, so there's some data getting
activity
gathered. Right. Yeah, and you can use it in attribution or all these nice links that give you brand referral bonus, so you can kind of get even some extra money from Amazon if people in your list buy. And you can give them some special link. Look, asking for reviews, I guess, I don't know, like I think if you're just giving like a 10% off and then asking for a review, I think it's legal. There's no problem or something. Or even if there's I mean, it's just asking neutral, maybe through the review request on Amazon itself. And that's nice because they already bought, so the chance for a new review might be a bit higher because they might have reviewed your previous product. So leveraging the list and building the list, I think it's a good idea. So that's what I could add to that, man. And that's what we're gonna do pretty much with the launch and that we're doing now. And and sure. But about what you mentioned, the products are then it's gonna be like different variations. Then we'll connect into, because there's similar products. So like you've seen variations of a product. So it's a good strategy that you mentioned with the Vine there, man. And man, anything you would also add? Maybe some other things that could make a launch successful before kind of we wrap up the video, man. Like, what do you think? So PPC for sure running, like first maybe a bit more aggressively just to get the traction. Vine reviews we said, or maybe a list if you have, like sharing it with them. I don't know, what else do you think could be useful?
So I think we covered everything. Said a good product, a good listing, beautiful main image, PPC, an email list if you have. And by the way, maybe you could share, how do you get a good email list, right? Amazon doesn't give you the email address. So how do you do it? Do you have like an insert, offer a free warranty? Maybe you share something.
Warranty. Basically, we do the warranty, and I would recommend the viewers and listeners to check in the guidelines of Amazon for sure for that, because it's like it's an area where actually they do have like you can say but I think if you just register proper warranty in Amazon, if like how else would they register, right? Like you just take their email, you give them a certificate or something. You can even make it, a nice Canva certificate so people will feel that they get the warranty. So then you start having this list, and you could, this is a bit more deep into tactics, but everyone who joins the list might get a sequence of emails that feature each one of your products, and it's an automatic sequence. So everyone that gets into the list, this webinar gets exposed to all your products, or maybe to other assets that you have. Maybe you have a blog, a YouTube channel, an educational video, so the more touch points, right? And yeah, man, I mean, another more tactical thing, let's say you have a blog and you have 5 best products for barbecue this year, or 5 best grill cleaners, and you're launching a new grill cleaner. You can put it number 1 where maybe before was your bestseller. So you kind of because main traffic is number 1 in those best posts, like 5 best kitchen Caesars or something like that, so number 1 gets most clicks, so you can replace the one that you have with your new product. And so again, you'll get a bit more clicks. To go a bit even deeper, you can advertise that blog post even on Google and then get traffic from Google that goes to Amazon then. So yeah, that's like, but mostly cool. I think we actually do PPC mostly, but these are also little things that can be useful. So yeah, I'll remind to our viewers, listeners, we have Isaac's IG PPC in the description. There's the link. There's a special offer as well. And maybe you want to use the tips and tricks that we've shared with you, or maybe you want help with that, so you can talk to the guys, see what they offer. Yeah, I think, Isaac, anything you want to add on that? Like maybe what sellers usually you help, what type of seller, what size of seller, what do you think? Yeah.
Okay, so we work actually with sellers from, all different sizes. Usually when a seller reaches out to us, we'll have a conversation and we'll assess if we're the right fit. So we're very nice and responsive. So just feel free to reach out and we can have that conversation. I would add one more thing. Before we take on any client, we do a very comprehensive audit on the account. And by the way, if you want a free audit, even if you don't want to come to us, you want to do the PPC yourself, we'll gladly do it for you. That's a service that we do. So we have a beautiful comprehensive audit that we audit your PPC, and we give you that report presented nicely. So if you want to get a free audit, if you want to see if you can add any value to PPC, or even if you do the PPC yourself, and you just want to get some insight from us, feel free to go to our website, igppc.com, and reach out to us, and we'll give you an audit that's really packed with value on your account with real actionable insights and tips.
Yeah, I think that's a good offer, man. Like a free audit for PPC is, the sellers, of course, if they choose to get more help from your side, it's amazing. And even if not, man, that's like a very good offer, in my opinion, because, that can, even those PPC like OGs, they're watching, listening, who knows, maybe you have something that you could improve. So yeah, check it out in the description. Also, I would appreciate if you mention my name, Vova Evan, and if you go work with the guys and just reach out, I'm going to be affiliated with Isaac. So if you ever do business with the guys, I'm going to get a little commission from that. No extra cost to you, the viewer. It's just value that we're sharing here. And this way I get a commission if you work with them. And this helps me keep the content free here, so we can do more and more free content. So I think it's like a good way to work. So yeah, thank you. And Isaac, man, thank you for being a guest. It was interesting, really nice tips, man, practical stuff. And I'm really grateful that you found the time, and would be happy to record more. All the links are in the description, I'll remind our viewers, listeners. And yeah, man, thank you. Good stuff. Honestly, thank you.
Sure. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Vova.
Thank you, man.